Now, given that Saaiman had so much hype coming into his young career off the Dana White Contender Series, yeah, there were some fouls and some nut shots and, the whole nine in there where we said, bro, such a good win, but if you could stop doing penalties, you'd be in a sweet spot. Why are we seeing him at plus money right here? Payton Talbott, he hasn't popped off the screen to me. You know what I mean? Why are we seeing Saaiman at plus money?
Well, that's interesting. He hasn't popped off the screen to you, Derek, because I do think Payton Talbott popped off the screen to a lot of people. I mean, he has the funky style. He's got the big hair. He has a very interesting style of fighting as well. Nonetheless, like his crazy tattoo in the middle of his chest. I think a lot of people were just hyped up for Talbott. And don't get me wrong, it makes me worried as a bettor right here, because is it all hype, or is Cody Saaiman the real deal and he's going to bring it in? You feel a little offended when you're the guy that's, been the rising star, and now something new, shiny comes out of nowhere, and you're on the B side now. You're wearing the blue tape. I think Cody Saaiman might have something for it, but maybe. Other than that, Derek, I don't know.
Put some respect on the South African's name. His name is Cameron Saaiman, my man. Listen, come from my man in the comments. South Africa rides with theirs. Come from my man. But nah, listen to this. I really think that there's going to be one major flaw in Payton Talbott's game that we saw pretty early, even in his last fight against Nick Aguirre, and that was takedown defense, right? I think Cameron Saaiman takes him down, and I think we ride from there. There has been speculations here that there's a couple dogs on this card that should be pretty solid favorites, right? I'm not going to take any guesses on who those are, but I think Cameron Saaiman is one of them. I think this is a live dog right here, and that's why, for me, I have to roll with Cameron Saaiman. I know coming off of that last loss to Christian Rodriguez, who is he's the hype stealer, man. You see, he's coming in. He's just wrecking everybody when it comes down to hype and all that. I think he ran into one of those spots, man. You come in hype, you feeling yourself, you suffer your first O, and that's the big question before we jump into these props, AJ. The mental fortitude of somebody who just took their first O. How do they come back? What do you think personally from your experience of just watching mixed martial arts, man? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but oftentimes this is the fire under their butts that turns them into a different fighter. So what do you think?
I agree with you, Derek. I think it could be multiple ways, but at the point of where Cameron Saaiman, brother, fans come at me in the comments. I expect it because I fucked up his name, but Cameron Saaiman over here, he's at the perfect point in his life. What is he? 9 or 10 fights in, but I'm trying to find his age. What is he? 2020, 23 years old, still young enough to have that hubris, but still old enough in the fight game to realize this is something that impacted him, and he can grow from it, right? We used to say back in the day, it's like the arrow, you're pulling back the bow to shoot you, whatever the saying is that's actually out there when you get it correct. But this is that moment, man. For Cameron Saaiman, it's something that was taken away from you, and now you get to get it back by taking away somebody else's. It's basically a moment made for the movies.
That's it. And if you look at it, yeah, Talbott, he's got a little bit of, does he have a little bit of height? A little bit of height, a little bit of reach, right? Listen, he's a good prospect, but all I'm saying here is that there's some undefeated prospects right here. Talbott even said it himself. He was like, there's a couple of undefeated guys here that got a little more hype than they should. And all I'm asking for is for him to prove me wrong, for him to show me that he is the real deal, because I think of these two prospects, I'm higher on Cameron Saaiman than I am on Payton Talbott as of this moment. But again, prove me wrong. Folks, this is a contentious pick. AJ has his pick. I have my pick. This is where winners are made. And this is where the money is made, not in the money line. But let's take a look at these props right here. Cameron Saaiman, he is coming off of that loss. He's coming off of a TKO win. He had a decision against Mana Martinez, a couple more TKO victories. If you look at Payton Talbott, he did get that rear naked choke. Before that, this dude's knocking everybody out. So this is the major question right here. Are we touching the decision prop, or are we hammering down some finishes right here?
Man, that's a great question, Derek, because it looks like the odds makers are favoring the decision. I personally do not see this one going to decision at all, man. Whether it's knockout or submission, obviously I'm leaning a little bit more towards that plus 350 knockout for Talbott, but it can happen on both sides, man. Both of these fighters are very, very dangerous, and that's why I was saying this entire fight card, yes, the consensus are moments, but this one's the same thing. Whichever one of these younger fighters can steal that moment, that's how we're going to see it finish right here. Which one do you like most? Submission?
Here's the thing, man. I think and this is going to sound crazy, but I do think that Cameron Saaiman is going to be able to snag a takedown. I think Talbott's going to be trying to work his way back up to his feet, as he should. And I think we're going to see a rinse, wash, repeat of that. We're going to see some good damage, but I think Cameron squeaks this one out. I think it will be kind of close. And for that reason, unfortunately, my friend, I do have to go plus 190 decision, Cameron Saaiman. And I even like the over 2.5. I believe it is currently minus 185. So I'm on the other side of the spectrum right here. I can respect the finish. And this is really just a theory of thought right here. This is a matter of thought experiment and how you see a fight playing out. But when you have two really hot prospects, one guy's undefeated, I don't think they're going to come out quite as aggressive as we might believe. Coming off of a loss, you're trying to keep your undefeated streak. I mean, you got to balance that, right? So that's what I got. My pick is Cameron Saaiman. South Africans, don't come for me. Cameron Saaiman, give me the decision. AJ, give the people your pick and method of victory.
Woo, folks, I'm going Payton Talbott. And like I said, I'm taking that plus 350 TKO. I think these kids, they may not come out right off the gate jumping, but they will get to it eventually. And I think the sniper that Talbott is, he's going to be looking for those long streaks. We'll see if he can get it done on Saturday.
15 minutes is a long time, folks. There's plenty of time for someone to get knocked out. Don't worry.